Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad once again called for a new world order today at the UN General Assembly, one not dominated by Western powers.
The current abysmal situation of the world and the bitter incidents of history are due mainly to the wrong management of the world and the self-proclaimed centers of power who have entrusted themselves to the devil. The order that is rooted in the anti-human thoughts of slavery and the old and new colonialism are responsible for poverty, corruption, ignorance and oppression and discrimination in every corner of the world.
Well, Ahmadinejad's remarks came a day after President Obama said he would do whatever it takes to prevent Iran from getting nuclear arms. Today, at an anti-Iranian protest near the UN, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani said President Obama has betrayed the people of Iran by not doing more to support their freedom. Strong words. I spoke with former Mayor Giuliani moments ago. You've been very critical of U.S. policy toward Iran, saying the Obama administration has a cavalier attitude. How do they have a cavalier attitude?
Well, I mean, the idea that you're going to stop them from becoming nuclear by just saying things like all options are on the table, or
but isn't that what Mitt Romney has said? All options are on the table.
Well, I mean, Mitt Romney's not the president. The president of the United States should be communicating. What the president of the United States should be communicating is that he will take military action.
But no president ever says we're going to bomb you. George W. Bush said all options are on the table.
The last one I remember that did that was Ronald Reagan. He's pretty successful. I mean, Ronald Reagan made it pretty clear when he was going to take military action. He pointed missiles at the Soviet Union and made it clear that he would take military action.
So was Bush wrong when he didn't say we're going to bomb you, but when he said all options are on the table? And Reagan said all options are on the table at plenty of times.
First of all, this was a long time ago when Bush was dealing with Iran. Iran was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years away from becoming nuclear. Iran now could be months away, could be a year away, could be 2 years away. Under President Obama, Iran has by 3 times increased the uranium and made it much more enriched than it was originally. That's a massive change in a very short period of time. And of course, Obama has a very bad history of begging to negotiate with him. He wrote a letter to the Ayatollah 6 months ago wanting to talk to him.
But what would Mitt Romney do differently? Because Mitt Romney, when he was talking to George Stephanopoulos, said he had the same red line as President Obama.
Well, we don't know we don't know what President Obama's red line is, since he won't share it with us. He won't share it with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He doesn't want to have a red line. He wants to keep it as fuzzy as possible. Now, if he wants to do that and communicate that privately to Netanyahu, if he wants to communicate that privately to the Ayatollah, I'm okay with that. But the reality is that he wants to keep it very fuzzy. And my fear is Iran will pass the point of no return without knowing it passes the point of no return.
Well, first of all, we don't necessarily know what the president has said privately to an Israeli leader, but also he has said publicly acquiring a weapon is the red line. He just said it yesterday at the UN.
We know he hasn't told Netanyahu that, unless Netanyahu's a big liar. I mean, Netanyahu is begging to meet with him so that he'll set a red line. Netanyahu is criticizing him for not setting a red line.
Right, but just yesterday at the UN...
And he's leaving Netanyahu in the dark, which is a terrible mistake.
But just yesterday at the UN, he said, we do what we must to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, from acquiring a nuclear weapon. Now, some are saying we should stop them from having the capability, and there's a difference. But Mitt Romney, when asked by Stephanopoulos, used the same term about acquiring a weapon.
Well, I mean, the reality is that's very, very fuzzy language. Very fuzzy language can lead to war. Very fuzzy language and confusion led to the First World War. There's no point in being fuzzy about it now.
So you're saying capabilities. If Iran has the capability of a weapon, then...
Well, I'm worried about that because I think we're not concentrating on the real key problem here. I don't think the key problem is Iran using missiles. I think their key problem is having nuclear material that they can hand off to the terrorists that they are presently
But
sponsoring.
We don't have a good track record, look at Iraq, of figuring out what capabilities people have. Isn't actually having a weapon really the kind of only thing we can actually positively say?
I'm not sure that's right, and I don't know that we don't have a pretty good capability.
But in
an
Iraq,
awful lot of the Iranian scientists have been killed in Iran. Somebody had pretty good information about who they were, where they were living.
Right, but you just said, I mean, you're saying that we've been fuzzy and weak in our diplomacy, but in fact, besides sanctions, I mean, there has been an assassination campaign against Iranian scientists and online virus campaign.
Anderson, the assassination campaign was the Mossad, not us. So let's be clear about that.
Well, we don't know for sure who it was, and we don't know what involvement or approval the U.S.
As far as we can all tell, it was the Mossad. It wasn't us. I mean, the reality is that his whole approach to Iran has been a very, very conciliatory one. Even the sanctions, which are stronger than they used to be, There are 20 exemptions from the sanctions.
Do you see a big difference, though, Mitt Romney, between what Mitt Romney would do?
I see a very, very big difference. I think Mitt Romney would deliver a very clear message. First of all, he'd meet with, how about a big difference like this? He would meet with Netanyahu and sit down face to face with the man and discuss with him what the options are. This is highly irresponsible. Netanyahu has to make a very critical decision. He has to decide whether for the sake of his nation he should attack Iran. He's entitled to a face-to-face, eye-to-eye discussion with the president about this so they can get it straight. The president has a problem with this. Bob Woodward's book is all about how President Obama doesn't seem to know how to deal with people or act with people or meet with them. This is a critical moment when the president has to put aside whatever personal feelings he has about Netanyahu, sit down with the man for an hour or two, and they've got to discuss it. It's more important they discuss it than you and I discuss it.